At St. Helens College, a prestigious all-girls university, room 207 in the hostel was home to 4 inseparable roommates: Laura, Anita, Rose, and Tina. They had been friends for 2 years, navigating the ups and downs of university life together. But Tina, with her strange and unexplainable quirks, had always been an enigma. The most mysterious thing about Tina was her hair. Every day, without fail, she would have a completely different hairstyle. Some days it was a neat bun, other days it was a long, luxurious braid that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. On special occasions, she even wore her hair down in long, flowing waves, as if she had just walked out of a salon. No one ever saw her styling her hair, and despite the constant transformations, it always looked flawless. Lara was the first to notice this oddity. "Does anyone else find it strange that Tina changes her hairstyle every single day?" she asked one evening as the group sat on their beds, studying. Anita looked up from her notebook, raising an eyebrow. "You're right, it's weird. It's like she has a different hairstyle every time we see her. How does she even do it?" Rose, who was always more skeptical, smirked. "Maybe she has a secret hairdresser she's hiding under her bed. It's the only explanation that makes sense." Tina, overhearing the conversation, simply smiled and shrugged. "Let's just say I have my methods. I'm a woman of mystery," she replied, her voice light, yet tinged with something that none of them could quite place. Her cryptic responses only made the curiosity grow. The 3 girls couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to Tina's daily transformations. Was she secretly getting her hair done by someone? Or was there some other reason behind the constant changes? "I'm going to figure it out," Anita declared the next day. "I'll find out what she's doing to her hair, I swear." Over the next week, the girls kept an eye on Tina, but no matter how hard they tried, they never caught her in the act. It was as if Tina's hair was magically styled overnight. Even when they woke up early in the morning or stayed up late, Tina always had a different hairstyle by the time they saw her. "I can't believe it," Lara sighed one afternoon. "We are literally sleeping through her transformations. How does she do it?" "It's like she's a wizard or something," Rose joked, but there was an edge of unease in her voice. Then, one morning, things took an unexpected turn. Tina arrived at breakfast with yet another new hairstyle. This time, it was an intricate set of braids that seemed to have been done with great care. But this time, something was different. The braids appeared fresher, more intricate, as if she had spent hours on them. "Where did you even find the time to do all this?" Anita asked, unable to hold back her curiosity. Tina just smiled again. "Like I said, I have my methods. Don't worry about it." But Laura and the others couldn't stop wondering. What exactly was Tina hiding, and how was she able to change her hair so dramatically every day? It was starting to feel less like an odd habit and more like a mystery they had to uncover. Little did they know, the answer was far beyond anything they could have imagined. The days passed, and the mystery surrounding Tina's hair only deepened. Lara, Anita, and Rose couldn't stop thinking about it. The more they tried to rationalize Tina's flawless, ever-changing hairstyles, the more they realized they couldn't explain it. Every time they asked her, Tina would smile enigmatically and change the subject, leaving them with no answers. One evening, while they sat in their dorm room studying, Rose stood up and stretched. "I've had enough of this. I'm going to figure it out tonight." Her voice was determined, and her face had a mischievous glint. "Figure what out?" Lara asked, looking up from her book. "You know," Rose said, walking to the door, "how Tina does it. I'm going to find out what she's hiding. If she can keep up with all these different styles, she's definitely got something going on." Lara and Anita exchanged glances. Though they had been skeptical at first, they were now as curious as Rose. There was something off about Tina's behavior, and they couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Anita asked, but she followed Rose to the door anyway. "I don't care how weird it sounds," Rose replied, pushing open the door. "We need to know the truth." The hallway outside was quiet. It was after midnight, and most of the girls in the hostel were already in their rooms, asleep. But as they reached the end of the hallway, Lara stopped. "Wait," she whispered, her eyes widening. "Look." There, at the end of the hall, they could see the faint glow of light under Tina's door. It was strange because Tina was usually in bed by now, like the rest of them. "She's still up," Anita murmured. Rose raised an eyebrow. "We need to see what's going on. Stay quiet and follow me." The girls tiptoed down the hallway, their footsteps barely making a sound on the tiled floor. When they reached Tina's door, Rose carefully pressed her ear to the wood. She heard no movement, just a quiet, eerie stillness. "Do you think she's asleep?" Lara asked nervously. Rose hissed, her face tense with anticipation. She slowly turned the doorknob, and to her surprise, the door opened easily. It creaked softly as it swung open, revealing a dimly lit room. Tina's bed was in the corner, bathed in the soft glow of a single desk lamp. But there was something so off about the room that none of the girls could immediately place it. As they crept inside, their eyes landed on Tina. She was sitting cross-legged on her bed, but she was different. Her head was not attached to her neck. Instead, it rested gently on her lap, as if it were another part of her body entirely. Anita gasped, her hand flying to her mouth in shock. Tina's head remained still, her closed eyes hidden beneath a thick curtain of hair. Her hands moved with eerie precision, weaving intricate braids into her detached head, as though it were a simple task. The room seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, the air thick with the sound of Tina's gentle movements. The girls froze, unable to believe what they were witnessing. They had been curious, but they had never imagined anything like this. Lara's mind raced. How was this even possible? Was it a trick? But there was no mistaking the fact that Tina's head was no longer part of her body. It was detached, floating in her lap like an object rather than a vital part of her. Rose whispered, her voice shaking with disbelief. Tina, as if sensing the presence of her friends, slowly raised her eyes from her lap. Her face was serene, almost peaceful, but there was a strange darkness in her gaze. She smiled faintly, as though this was nothing unusual. "Do you see now?" Tina said softly, her voice echoing in the stillness of the room. "I told you, I have my methods." Before the girls could respond, Tina's head gently floated back into place, seamlessly reconnecting with her body as if nothing had happened. She tilted her head, eyes glinting with something between amusement and pity. The girl stood, frozen in shock, as Tina casually adjusted her hair, no different than if she had simply styled it with her hands. "I've been hiding this from you for a long time," Tina said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But now you know. I hope you understand." The room was deathly silent. Lara, Anita, and Rose stood frozen in place, their eyes wide with disbelief. Tina sat on her bed, her head now perfectly aligned with her neck as if nothing out of the ordinary had just transpired. The air felt thick with tension, the sound of each girl's heartbeat pounding in their ears. Anita was the first to break the silence, her voice barely a whisper. "Tina, what was that? How did you do that?" Tina's lips curled into a small, knowing smile, as though she had been expecting this reaction all along. She stood up slowly, her posture graceful and composed, as if nothing had disturbed her. "I guess it's time to tell you the truth," she said, her voice calm yet heavy with something darker. "What you just saw is a part of who I am. It's not just some parlor trick or illusion. It's a gift or a curse, depending on how you look at it." Laura took a cautious step forward, her mind racing with questions. A gift.